Changing worksheet values is often an arduous task. Sometimes it's simply a lot of drudgery of data entry. At other times you have to write formulas and copy and paste, and it's not always a lot of fun. Sometimes, though, you've got information that needs to be updated, and you can do it without formulas. Take a look at the list here of values for the first 6 months for various states. And let's imagine that these particular values that were entered here maybe were done manually. Whoever came up with these values made a mistake in the calculations, and these are all off by 5. So we'd like to bump them up by 5. Possibly in another situation, they need to be decreased by a certain value. But let's say we want to do the same thing to every one of these cells in this cluster right here. So suppose it is that we want to make them all bigger by 5. In an empty cell somewhere nearby, put in the value 5. We can later get rid of it. Simply copy it, Control-C, right-click copy, all the different ways that you might copy. Highlight the data in question. Right-click, paste special, and add. Now keep an eye on at least one or two of the numbers just to see that it will have changed. Click OK, and the numbers are larger by 5, every single one of them. And you'll notice that none of these have any formulas in them. Some people would be worried about this feature because there is no, as we say, paper trail here. No formulas to remind us what these might have been. We simply changed all the values here by 5. Now, let's not confine this just to addition. Certainly that could have been subtraction, as I suggested. How about this list on the right, and maybe in a different context, even though it's similar kinds of data? What if this represents current year data, and you've copied it and pasted it somewhere else, and you'd like to show these new values at a level 10% bigger? Now, there will be decimals. We'll deal with that. So a little bit of math in your head will suggest that the 40s here will become 44s, the 50s will become 55s, and the other ones will involve some decimals. But again, the need is we want these all to be 10% bigger. Now, depending upon the percent, you'll do the math in your head. A lot of you would know that to make these 10% bigger, we can multiply them by 1.1. So once again, in an empty cell somewhere, anywhere we choose, put in 1.1, copy that value, highlight the cells that we want to change, right-click, paste special. This time it's going to be multiply. And to speed it up a little bit, double-click multiply. And those cells that had been 40s right here are 44s. The 50 became a 55 and so on. And to see the true values here, we would highlight these. And on the Home tab, in the number group, perhaps a quick way to do this would be to click the number indicator, the comma, and probably decrease the decimals at least once. So now we have new values pretty quickly. No formulas in sight. We don't know what the old values are unless we wrote them down or copied them. But it certainly doesn't take very long to do this. I think you can imagine, too, that even with many, many cells, of course, this would happen just as quickly. Different situation could be you've got a huge list of salaries. The company's going to give everybody a $500 bonus for the holidays or whatever. You could imagine adding 500 to all those salaries very quickly using this technique.